Welcome to the Nameless Voices podcast. This is episode number 29. Please hold your applause. We wouldn't hear it anyways. My name is Nanashi. I'll be your host for the evening, and I apologize in advance for whatever the show is going to be. Joining us tonight is a menagerie of personalities. We have the Yugi memer himself, Connor Lockhart.
I have nothing to say this time other than Forspoken bad. That is all.
I think we can all agree with that. He changes his name as often as I change socks, or at least he used to. Chaos.
Yeah.
We have our fellow furry Yugi tuber, Mr.Orichalcos.
What's poppin', B?
He is the thing that goes bumping tonight. It's Raven.
Help, I'm stuck in the dungeon. He has me at gunpoint, wanted me to do this intro for this podcast series. Help.
Oh shit, damn, I
I like how Ori just said no.
We have our dedicated salad player, Reborn.
Now with 20% more dragons.
He is the god of winter, Tomi.
Hey bitches, I'm fucking up the East Coast this weekend. Reminder to say fuck the Eagles, go Chiefs. Also, I'm gonna post this in podcast chat. This was a gift that I got yesterday.
Adorable.
Aww.
He's every Yu-Gi-Oh player's worst nightmare by name, Tim Brick.
6 samurai, more like 6 dead hands. My god, they brick.
Indeed.
We have our dedicated Smash player, Yosh.
My leg may be healed, but I missed the 2 months where it wasn't because it was the closest I've ever been to being back in the primordial ooze of not being able to fucking walk.
Oh god, I felt like that. I had 2 years of trying to nurse one leg.
Yeah, damn, thing.
And he's here in all his protogenic glory, it's Zivuth. I guess he's not able to talk right now.
Oh, so fun.
Also, how dare you say 6 Am's brick? They are still a deck of all time.
True.
That's very accurate. They are a deck.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so first things first. How's everyone doing today?
Good.
Oh,
My birthday was nice yesterday. Got taken off
University
the
started back up, so that's been busy.
Doing good. Doing good.
I'm alright. I actually just came back from watching Puss in Boots: The Last Wish.
I
was
watched
a
that
good
on
movie.
I don't support the movie theater down here since they did something racist. So what I do is I just watch shit on bootleg sites. Like I ain't gonna support a thing that got racist to someone down with a different color of skin.
Well,
That's like how they beat Discord.
That's okay. That's a thing, I guess.
well,
But also, I became an uncle.
nice.
Good
I
news.
remember reading about
Nice,
that.
nice.
Yeah,
Congrats.
my brother's
First-
wife. She gave birth on Monday. It's their first child.
Oh, first child, a lot of lessons, but hopefully the
yeah.
little one doesn't get sick.
They,
Have fun.
they'll love him regardless. They'll be great parents. I know they will.
First off, welcome to the Uncle Club. We've got milk and cookies here. Second off, I literally watched the Last Wish film illegally as well, but that's because I don't have the money to go out to the theaters and watch it. And
I do too, but I
third,
live
I've
in a hick
also
area
been
which I don't
decent.
support.
I should probably go to one of the 4 different cinemas by me. 4 cinemas and 6 bakeries by me.
Good grief.
Like,
Bro,
there is-
my fat self would gain 100 pounds. I'm sorry.
there's a really
Just
good
gain weight from
cinema
eating?
around where I live, but it's expensive as hell.
I haven't exactly had the greatest time. I had to go to the hospital a couple of weeks ago.
Oh dear.
Oh, what?
Happened.
Shit.
Well,
What happened?
it's the weirdest thing ever. I sat down one day and my ears started ringing, both of them at the same time, and it would not go
Tinnitus?
away.
Status?
Yes, it turns out I had tinnitus. I went to the hospital a couple of days
Oh,
later,
no.
and it turns out I had a massive ear infection.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh, that's bad.
Jesus Christ, is it at least gone now?
It's mostly gone. It's still going away. I still perpetually hear the sonic whine of those old box TVs when you first turn them on, but it's nowhere near as bad as it was.
That's good to hear. Also,
That's good.
tonight.
Ah, funny. Good to hear.
Oh my god.
Also, tinnitus, I only mainly know because I watch Archer.
I only know of it because that one Lucio voice line.
But yeah, I am getting better. They had me on some antibiotics. I've been doing everything I can to minimize the irritation, and it's gotten to the point where now I can hear just about everything clearly, but there's still that little bit of whine. So it'll probably be gone in like a week or two.
Yeah, hopefully you
It's
don't
like
have the
melee.
same. Hopefully you don't have the same effect when I take antibiotics. I'm always on the damn toilet, no matter what antibiotic I take.
Nah, that's not a problem for me. The only thing that happens
that's
is if I'm on penicillin, I get a headache.
Ooh.
In my case, I often get really sleepy.
Okay, well let's get some topics out of the way. First off, Valentine's Day is coming up. Anyone got any plans for that?
No.
No.
Right here.
If by
I
Valentine's
am
Day
getting
you
into the
mean-
beginnings of a romantic relationship with someone, but
Yeah,
it's just at the very budding stages yet.
I'm in a long distance relationship and we're somehow making it work, even though I don't know how I'm doing this.
Okay, that's cool. No, I'm cool. I'm gonna let you finish, but I just found this on Twitter.
Nice poster.
Mario movie poster. Yeah.
Oh, besides the voice actor, that's gonna be a good movie. To me,
I think
Mario.
fine.
I'm like,
I am still cautiously optimistic for this.
Same.
I was gonna say, the movie looks really good, which is something you rarely ever say for Illumination.
Mm-hmm.
And the voice acting is pretty much on par. Jack Black, good Bowser. Seth Rogen, good DK. Now you die. Anya Taylor-Joy, Charlie Day, good. It's just the problem is Mario's voice actor.
Yeah.
Because Chris Pratt's not changing his voice in the slightest, and man, it sure would suck if he was the main character, which the movie was named after. Oh.
Yeah, at least Charlie Day's playing that version.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was
as
looking
for what? Oh, I'm sorry. As for Valentine's Day, me and my girlfriend go for KBBQ for like an all-you-eat place, and then we're gonna go hit up a karaoke place for a couple hours.
Nice.
I was looking back on a lot of the initial reactions to the cast of the Super Mario Brothers movie, and people were laughing their asses off at everybody, but for the most part, they were like agreeing with Anya Taylor-Joy being Princess Peach. It's like that was the only unanimously accepted choice.
I'm sorry,
No, I'm pretty sure a lot of people agree with Jack Black also.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna say this real quick about Jack Black. I remember School of Rock. I remember him going from School of Rock getting good vocals to putting out his own albums. Tenacious D. And Tenacious D.
Oh my god, Tenacious D, Brutal Legend, those are so good.
Jack Black is like a 5-tool outfielder in baseball. He can do every fucking thing under the sun, even pitch.
Also, Michael Key attempting to no longer be the Mari Jannetty of Key and Peele.
I'm gonna be real with you all. Everyone's like surprised that for an Illumination movie, the quality and animation is really good. Yet it's being backed up and supervised by Nintendo, who lost their shit because fucking Bowser in the Wreck-It Ralph movie wasn't drinking his tea a certain way. So quality-wise, they're going to get. So quality-wise, it's not really going to be an issue.
Yeah. They're literally hand-holding Nintendo. They're literally hand-holding Illumination at this point, is what I meant to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, I'm not saying like it definitely looks better than anything else they've ever made, but I feel like at least Despicable Me 1 didn't look that bad, honestly.
Well, as long as we're on the subject of questionable performances, I think the next thing we should probably discuss is the Velma series.
Oh, no.
Is there really any more to talk about in regard to that?
Is the name of this podcast going to be the Velma podcast?
Wait, can we skip this? Because I swear, if I have to
You
talk
literally
about
just
Velma,
achieved the exact requirement that I was looking for to move past this topic. That's all I wanted.
Hold on. I actually have something to say about that, and I haven't really spoken, so I'd like a moment.
Sure.
this movie, it was the same exact thing that they did for Teen Titans Go, except instead of pandering it to little children, they pandered it to young adults.
And he couldn't
Not
even do
saying
that right.
that.
And
You know,
they failed. And
I
that
think that's
that-
where they
that-
pandered it to people who made it.
To be fair, at least
Well,
Teen
that
Titans Go
I
had
agree.
some good episodes.
I think
To be
that the
fair,
best
it was
way
dog shit.
I think the best way to approach actually rating the movie is just leaving it to the experts and just saying, "Oh, it's bad," and not watching it.
Yeah, thanks.
Goozilla,
Yeah.
Goozilla said something funny. Hulu calls it the #1 animation, but it's the only one on the site.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to say
They rigged the
something.
system. They rigged the
I want-
system.
I want to do a hot take.
Oh boy.
Go ahead.
I am perfectly fine with Velma being Indian and Norville, Shaggy's real name, being black. That's fine. I'm more forgiving of fictional characters being race swapped than real life historical figures. Because, well, they're fictional. You're not going to have much historic precedent there. But I am not happy about how they're written. And especially that one comment that Kaling Velma says about animation.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Mhm.
The one
What did
about
she
the 420
say?
joke.
It was the 420 joke.
Yeah,
that one's
420.
I didn't
Do
watch
you mean
it, and I
code
never
word
will,
for
so-
adults who still watch animations?
Yeah.
I watch animations and I've seen reviews on that, and all people laughing at the little Dick Fred joke. I'm like, cool, laugh at the guy's dick size. I hope you have a nice day and just non-stop step on logos. Don't make fun of the guy's dick.
Okay, well, moving into the next topic, since we're already discussing animation, Justin Roiland, the voice and creator of Rick and Morty, got fired.
Good.
Oh,
Fuck him.
geez, Rick.
Yeah,
I-
unsurprisingly.
Charges, if I recall.
Fuck the dude. He did something very fucked up, and I hope he goes to jail for life.
Well, he's currently out on
I
bail, but
don't-
yeah, he's gonna roast.
Is this like Maker of Ren and Stimpy bad? Because
Kind of.
It's
somewhere
up
in that
there,
ballpark.
but let's not discuss it further. I just wanted to touch on it real quick to show that we acknowledge that it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
also on the
now-
topic of
unfortunately.
animation, I also want to talk about a certain YouTube channel who's dedicated around animation.
Which one?
Shay
Wow.
Frillis. Shay Frillis, heard of it?
Not familiar.
No.
Yes,
Oh,
Shay
no.
Frillis.
Yes.
Hopefully he recovers fully.
Oh,
That's right.
right.
Just
I know which
about
one you're
to-
talking about now. Yeah.
I don't. What is
Created
it? I don't
by-
know.
James Frillis, and also managed by his friend Chris Schaefer, hence the name Shay Frillis, and also his brother Patrick. All three of them were involved in a really terrible car crash in Lay County.
Oh god, are they okay?
Yeah, and unfortunately, Chris and Patrick both died in the incident, and also left
Wait, who died?
in a critical condition.
Wait, I'm sorry. Who died? I'm
Chris and Patrick.
Yeah, Chris and Patrick both
from what?
from the Shay Frillis Productions YouTube.
What?
crash.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my fucking god!
Wait, what?
Yeah, Ori's been posting articles about that in the server for a while.
yeah, that's right.
Did they make?
You
Yeah.
think I pay attention to anything in the news anymore?
Indeed.
feel like you don't pay attention to much of anything at all half the time.
Oh, if we're gonna bring up if we're gonna bring up a car crash, I
want to
gotta
be-
look. Do you guys hear about that wrestler who passed away? His kid got
Who? What?
critical condition.
Which one?
Oh, yeah, Jay Briscoe.
Oh, right.
Briscoe. Like, we can bring that up. Like, that guy did so much for
Rest in
charity.
peace.
His school went from 1 day off to 2 days off to 3 days off to a week to back to 3 days. His family did so much for that, and they literally had the car catch on fire. The guy got in the wreck and died on site. The wife died on site. One kid's in critical. I don't know if they're better, and one kid's also in critical. But that guy did so much for that community.
Yeah, I also wanted to continue on the my news on Shay Frillis.
Sure.
Go ahead.
And also, I did say that the car crash left James in a critical condition, But I am proud to say that he has been making a good recovery and is now becoming more active on social media, mainly Twitter. As a result, GoFundMe pages have been opened up for the funerals of both Chris and Patrick, and from last I checked, I think both of them have gotten over $10,000, which is really
That's
amazing
great.
to
I wish I would get.
to see
I
how.
wish I would get more money though, because I know football fans did what they did for DeMar. I just hope his fan base gives him at least more money for that. I know funeral costs on 10,000 ain't gonna cover the cost for anything these days.
Yeah,
No, a funeral's
tank of
usually at
gas.
least like 20K.
but yeah,
No, it doesn't cost a tank of gas, Nanashi.
but regardless, I'm glad that James is recovering well, and I do wish him a full recovery.
There's a lot of
God bless
people.
him.
There's a lot of people dying from car crashes. These like
Yeah,
I got hit by a car. This is nothing new to me.
Yeah, well, that's how I got my uncle's ex. Clipped me twice. Second time she clipped me, she ended up, well, casket.
Indeed.
And-
Oh no, it wasn't a clip from me. I fucking flew.
but she did herself in prison. But like the fact that people keep on getting hurt in car crashes and stuff, this makes me glad that like at least my generation in Chicago learned to drive. But nowadays, I'm like everyone's in a rush to go where there's car crashes. There's roads that haven't been fixed in decades.
yeah, no,
And
yeah, it's rough.
Honestly, this last couple of months has been kind of horrible, especially in terms of deaths.
yes,
Yeah.
very celebrity-wise too.
Mhm.
Does anyone
Yeah.
know if the Archer from Marvel was recovered yet? I just don't want to look into that story because every time I
Oh,
look at it, it's sad.
he's
I have
recovering,
no idea.
Oh yeah,
but they said that there's a possibility that he might have to get amputated at some
A lot-
point.
and I was talking to my
Oh, God.
friend. I was talking to my friend. CGI or whatever, he'll still be a good arrow guy, no matter what you put him in. Like I know, like if there's like disabled actors that could still act, like that's what I'm all for. And I'm like, I'm hoping he still keeps his acting job because if he loses his acting job because of amputee, that's messed up.
Okay, well,
To be
let's.
fair, in
You
the
could go the what's it called? You could go the Drake route and just act in a wheelchair.
No. I mean, you lose one of your legs or limbs, just get a prosthetic, and you can still do it.
Too, but I mean, like he can be more authentic for stuff where it requires a person to, be handicapped. Because as weird as it sounds, it's not easy to act that way.
It isn't, but I believe I mean, if he were in his wheelchair for the rest of his life, he could take up Xavier Charles easily.
All right, let's change the topic to something more positive. I'm sure all of
Yeah.
us have heard about the constant and just back and forth between Wizards of the Coast and the Dungeons and Dragons community.
Oh.
I thought it was supposed to be positive. What happened?
Yeah.
Because we won.
indeed.
Oh, thank
Oh,
God.
oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
you didn't. I was giving everyone a moment to process what I was talking about. We have been going
Yeah.
back and they have been going back and forth trying to get their public license changed so that they didn't steal all the money from people making custom content under their license and everything. And a couple of weeks ago, they released a single Twitter announcement saying that the license is now completely free to use. You can use any version, and it is completely free to use. They gave up.
Is though.
What Wizards of the
I would
Coast
hope
gave
so.
up, or who did?
Yes, that's what I'm
D&D?
talking about.
Oh,
Question-
fuck Wizards of the Coast.
The question is though, has the damage already been done?
Oh,
Yes.
absolutely.
Because-
A lot of people are switching to Pathfinder. The
Yeah,
straw,
indeed.
the straw that broke the
because
camel's back that
that's-
finally allowed them to change their mind on this in the first place was when Pathfinder sold 8 months of product in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Pathfinder's a card game, right?
No, Pathfinder is basically the precursor to Dungeons and Dragons in a sense.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah, then
yeah, that-
I'm not playing Dungeons and Dragons anymore.
Yeah. And I think it could still also impact the upcoming Dungeons and Dragons movie, because I still think that despite looking like pretty good, I still think that the movie's gonna bomb.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely will.
Yeah, I
It's a
don't
shame
see the
because
movie
it
doing
actually
well.
looks kind of good, but
Case
Well,
of bad timing.
in situations like this where you want to see the movie to test the waters on its quality, but don't want to support the creator, you just pirate it.
Cough, cough.
Eh,
Harry Potter 8, whenever it
I
comes
lie,
out.
I
cough.
cheat, I steal. Anti-Guru.
yeah, nobody's
You
making
are
a
a
movie
pirate.
version of Cursed Child anytime soon. I think they would rather ride a cactus.
Speaking of another wrestling thing, the Guerrero family got mad at Vince McMahon and WWE for making him look like Guerrero, and then Dominic Mysterio came out and said, "I respect this man. I will always will. It was an honor being a kid when they did the Rey Mysterio versus Guerrero for the kid angle, who gets custody."
Are you talking about that quote that Vicky Guerrero did?
Yeah,
Well, it was made up.
I thought it was
What?
real.
Yeah, WrestleMania made that up for content,
Oh, they
and
did.
Vicky Guerrero
Wow.
herself put on Twitter that the quote that WrestleMania put up was complete bullshit.
Okay, thank
Well, that's
God.
all good.
I'm a big Eddie fan, and Eddie made my life better. Let's just say that was good.
To be fair, the hype thing's making me more convinced that Dominic is a Guerrero and not a Mysterio.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past that, and if he was, I would love it. Like seriously, he's a hell of a wrestler. He's a hell of a wrestler.
Okay,
Yeah,
I think this is a good time to start drifting toward the card games and going down the list. Since Ori is actually here with us, why don't we go ahead and get the Digimon stuff out of the way?
Alrighty then. So, this month comes the release of Dimensional Phase, the 11th main set. It'll be released on February 17th. The key stuff to come from this will be support for All Force V Dramon, Mastemon, and Machine Dramon. But also contains the debut of a new meta-breaking deck of Black War Greymon X. Oh, and also casual deck of Galacticmon.
Nice.
Also contains a new keyword, Raid, where upon attacking, you can switch the attack target to an opponent's unsuspended Digimon.
Is
Since
the deck
normally,
sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends?
Ah,
I was gonna say, don't say it, don't think
only
it.
if
Don't say it, don't think it.
no, yeah, that's gonna be the tagline. Digimon sponsoring Raid Shadow Legends. no. Raid
please
Shadow
never
Legends
do it.
sponsored by Bandai.
Oh, what?
Yeah, you heard me. Raid Shadow Legends sponsored by Bandai.
Well then,
No, can we not,
heard me,
please?
right?
No.
does that mean you guys see a Pac-Man crossover? I know Bandai isn't Namco, but they're basically like attached at the hip.
Anyway, continuing down, we have the next starter deck, Beelzemon, coming out in March 27th. Hopefully.
Cool.
Yeah, this looks like it's going to be a pretty decent competitive deck. I think it's going to be high tier at the very least. High tier, if not low.
I'm just sad that none of the locals within 30 minutes of me take Digimon seriously. And these locals also did away with Vanguard. And I'm just sitting here like, you gotta be kidding, dude. Vanguard used to make you the most money, more than Yu-Gi-Oh, and you get rid of it.
I think people are getting cautious because of overdress.
I
think it's
the rebooting
Indeed.
thing tends to be hard on certain card games.
Honestly.
Indeed.
Yeah.
It's a miracle Pokemon lasts. If it wasn't Pokemon, it would not last past season 2. Honestly,
Probably not.
like with their rotating draft.
So,
Alright.
I was going to say this about Pokemon. I remember how cancerous and bad it was for 4 years not having a a new card pool. And like you get a new card pool, but get a new card pool, you build your deck, and then there's a tier 0 deck, and you're trying to have fun. Like, that's why I couldn't play Pokemon anymore.
Yeah, I can vouch. I can vouch. Okay, anyway. Next up is, if I can, will be the main set 12 across time, which will feature support for the main tamers of Digimon Adventure 1 up until Cross Wars, or Fusion in the dub. So when it comes to the tamers, we have Kai with War Greymon, of course, Davis with Imperial Dramon, and then following that, Takaro with Gallantlon, Takuya with, I want to say Burning Greymon, I think, because I don't watch Digimon. Marcus Damon with Shine Greymon, and then Taiki with Shoutmon Cross 7 Superior Mode.
Like, I would legit get into Digimon just so I could say Marcus for game.
Yep, that's actually going to be very... I'm hoping to build that. It's going to be so much fun.
Like, I just want to be... Like, Marcus is on the top 10 greatest men who ever lived in my book. Man,
Yeah,
bro.
man just rolls up and is like, yo, who
I'm a-
want to throw hands?
Yeah, I'm
Digimon
going to
also
punch
cares about their
Satan.
fan base.
He actually punched a literal demon.
Marcus don't care about gender, age, species. He be like, these hands are rated E for everyone.
Yeah, and the thing is, Digimon actually comes out with good ban lists every once in a while. I don't know if they've been an emergency list. You can correct me if there has or hasn't. But Digimon will come out and fix their card game and admit they're wrong. I know in the first few months they couldn't. Once they got the ball rolling, they do amazing ban lists, better than Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm gonna say about Marcus. Isn't Marcus the one where he punches Digimon to get the power to digivolve his Agumon?
That's the one.
Okay,
That's the one, Marcus Damon or Daimon Masaru.
Yeah.
I'm just making sure I got that right.
Yeah.
I remember watching it.
Also from the BT12 set, we have Beelzemon X, Arrestadramon Superior Mode, and the Rival Hunters from Cross Wars, with Quartzmon, which is an actual floodgate.
Oh boy.
Like,
Yeah.
how bad of a floodgate are we talking about?
Yes, you can't even unsuspend anything.
So he just says no to everything.
Yep. You have to get rid of it by, like, option cards or other cheeky methods.
So basically, it's going to be next on the ban list.
Probably.
We shall see. Alright, continuing down. Expansion set 4 Alternate Being. Of course, being based around the alternate forms of existing Digimon. The main appeal will be Omnimon Alter S with Omnimon Alter B. The debut of Ravenmon from Digimon Cross Wars, Savers or Data Squad, with his appropriate tamer, I want to say Taika, I can't remember. It's Keenan in the dub.
Wait, did I hear right? Did you say Ravenmon?
Ravenmon, yes. Well, technically Ravenmon.
Into Digimon.
Yeah. It also has stuff like the Good and Evil lines of Cherubimon, and also the debut of Shine Greymon Ruin Mode. It also has a new tagline of Alliance, where when attacking you can suspend another Digimon in order to have it gain the DP of that suspended Digimon, as well as security attack +1, as if you're attacking with 2 Digimon at once, basically.
Okay, so that's just Legion attack, so...
I was gonna say.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that main set 12 for Across Time is due for release overseas on April 28th.
Ah.
And for Alternative Being, it's meant to be for release on June 23rd. And up next is the reboot booster set Rising Winds, which is getting a bit of flag because the Japanese version of it is set to have tons of reprints from the first main 5 sets, but again only for the Japan release, as the planned English release will only include the new cards and no reprints.
Honestly based.
Honestly, they're taking a Yu-Gi-Oh book page out of the Yu-Gi-Oh book, and that's gonna knock them. That might lose them some money. Like, I understand you don't want to do reprints, but reprints in every card game. This is why I love EDH decks. Worth every penny. All those reprints.
I think this is actually classic of Bandai to not do lots of reprints when localizing stuff.
Yeah, because Vanguard had a problem with this. They were legitimately terrified of doing reprints.
Weiss Schwarz has the same issue. We've only received maybe 5 total reprints across the entirety of the game's existence.
God.
Oh, you got to keep in mind, over in Japan, they just make their people happy. But over in America, capitalism sells, and it's kind of sad.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. So anyway, when it comes to the new cards, it's basically based around the Ghost Game anime. It will have the mega evolutions of all the main protagonist Digimon with their tamers. So for Gamamon and Hero, we have Siriusmon. For Jellymon and Kiyoshiro, it's Amphimon. And for Ruli and Angoramon, even, they have Diabitmon. Additionally, it will include the evil line of Gamamon, so that's Gullus Gamamon, and what looks like a fusion of both the good and evil mega lines of Gamamon in the form of Proximamon. So the set is now out in Japan. It was released on the 27th of January, but there's no planned English release date yet. And now the big one, main set 13 versus Royal Knights. This set is cracked. We actually have had a massive leak around the middle of January, and so far we've gotten a lot of reveals, and yeah, this set's going to be really good. As the name implies, it's based around the Royal Knights of the Digimon world, but it's also a Digimon Savers / Data Squad set, as we've got Shine Greymon Burst Mode and Mirage Gargomon Burst Mode. There will also be the debut of Belphamon, so one of the Demon Lords, and Yggdrasil 76. The Japanese release date is set for later this month on the 23rd, while an English release is planned for July 21st. And yeah, I really want to get myself a box of versus Royal Knights.
Understandable.
Yeah. So that pretty much does it for my news on the Digimon card game.
All right, well, I haven't heard any news as far as Pokemon's concerned. They seem to be chugging along pretty well with their latest video game release.
Yeah. There is actually something I want to bring up. Well, I want to bring up about that.
What's that?
So whenever they release a new generation, they always release like a new base set to coincide with it because they rotate out the old ones to go with this set.
Right.
Like they're doing now with the games where they're rotating out certain Pokemon. Like how now there's no more Sandstream users, so now Sandstorm is kind of garbage. Anyway, with the card games, I've noticed they haven't released anything Gen 9 lately. They've just been expanding on Gen 8. Like, we just got a Sword and Shield expansion pack again after the game's released like a couple months ago.
That's unusual.
Very. So, like, I'm thinking they're probably trying to come up with a new gimmick since GX cards technically can't work the same way anymore because there's no, like, special forms for Pokemon anymore. Like,
Right.
no joke, the only thing that has anything is maybe, like, Rotom or anything like that that is technically its own Pokemon. But There's no like Gigantamax, no Mega Evolution, no Crystal, nothing. There is terrestrialization, but I think they're trying to figure out how to go put that into the card game, which I'm excited.
I was gonna
I'm sorry,
say, terrestrialization
Uh-huh.
seems symbolic to put into a Gen 9 version of the card game. In fact,
Oh,
I think there's a lot of wacky stuff from Generation 9 that would end up being a nuisance to put in the card game as a whole.
I think so, but I don't think they want to go back to Gen 5 when EX cards were like just better versions of Pokemon. Because if they really want to do that, they would have just said like it's its own format, but they haven't even mentioned anything yet. I think they're just gonna have it like terrestrialization is gonna be like energy cards, where you put a card down and it terrestrializes into whatever energy you put on the Pokemon. So like say you have 11 steel energy, and then you also have 4 grass energy because you have 4 water energy because your steel deck is weak to fire, so you use the water energy to terrestrialize into water to have that resistance. I think
that doesn't sound like a bad idea.
Like that. No, yeah, it would work because then everyone has to look at your deck regardless, so they can just figure out off of that. Especially if you're using certain cards that use those energy anyway, because then you can benefit from the fact that you have those cards to counter it. So, like, say for example, you're using a deck where it's a steel deck, like I mentioned, and the water one is the counter. Say you have, I don't know, what's a good one? Fucking, I forget the name of it. Let's just say Empoleon. I know it's not gonna be in Gen 9, but let's just say, for example, let's say they have the steel one, not the water one, for some reason. And it's weak to fighting. You can change it to water, which usually they tend to be super effective against fighting. So you'll lose that weakness and end up turning it around on them, which I think can work, especially since you already like know whatever it is your opponent's gonna have, because deck lists are a thing in turn, no matter what.
Not gonna lie, it kind of reminds me of side decking against specific opponents.
They could actually implement that too, because there is a side deck thing for Pokemon tournament. It's just not used that much because everyone uses the same deck throughout the tournaments. They're usually that good. Like, you don't have to change it up too much. Which is also why we don't get side decks with the promo decks they release whenever someone wins Worlds, because they usually just use that same deck throughout the whole tournament most of the time.
Oh, they still do Worlds decks? I remember buying the Rayquaza one, and we did mirror matches.
They still do. They're good, but honestly, everyone looks at you like you're just kind of trash if you buy them, because you're getting your deck made for you as opposed to coming up with some strategy. So people just look at you funny because you're not really expanding the meta in any way.
The Pokemon people, like every Pokemon store, know me as like a collector and casual player, so they just didn't care. I'm like, are you playing competitive? You playing casual and collection? Okay, we don't give a fuck.
They must really hate the Yu-Gi-Oh fan base.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, it's very toxic between the two, because they both started around the same time, and Pokemon thinks because they had Wizard of the Coast as the people making it, which is the same people who made Magic the Gathering, they feel entitled to the fact that they were the ones who were working on it.
Wizards of the Coast sounds like more like Wizards of the Boast.
Basically. Honestly, it's so dumb. Like, they don't even make them anymore. The Pokemon Company makes them now, so like there's no... Now, the people who complain about it weren't even alive for it, or didn't even play the game back then. The only ones who do, like, they're probably in like their 40s, and if they are, okay, you kind of wasted your time and energy on that, but sure. Alright, so that's one. The other thing I wanted to mention about Pokemon is that with this game, so you remember in Gen 7 how they had Ultra Beast, and they were their own kind of card because they are technically alien Pokemon?
Yeah, I remember those.
Spoilers, by the way. It's not major spoilers, but like it's because like it's kind of hinted from the beginning. But the legendaries of the game aren't really legendaries. More so, they're just Pokemon that are ancient forms of Cyclozar. Ancient
and bitch.
Because it's one's literally a dinosaur, the other one's a robot, and that you ride them. It's hinted at very heavily. But anyway, considering that and the other forms, the other Paradox forms, if they're gonna make them like that, if they're gonna make them say where because they're instead of Ultra Beast, they're primal forms or paradox forms. They give you 2 cards instead of 1. What if that's the major gimmick also alongside like Terrestrialization doesn't increase the amount of cards you give because it's more so checking the typing rather than making it a whole new busted card. The card's still got the same strength, different typing. What if those become the new big bads, like the new boss cards? Like they make one of typing. So, for example, Iron Thorns, the future T-Tar, is rock electric. What if they make him electric and make him like a boss for electric types? Or they have
like the Delta species.
They have iron. What's his name? Iron Hands. Or no, they could just make him rock because honestly, it is still T-Tar at the end of the day, but it's T-Tar. And then they have Iron Hands where he's steel electric, and they make him the electric boss. Like, what if they go with that direction? Because it is technically still Pokemon. They aren't legendaries. If anything, we only have 4 legendaries in this game because, like I said, the 2 box legendaries are technically just paradox Pokemon. But yeah, what if they make it like that? Like, say the paradox Pokemon are the ones that give up extra cards.
Interesting.
That'd be a neat mechanic to pursue.
There's
probably.
Yeah, because it's with Ultra Beasts, they were still treated like normal Pokemon. It's just they were treated like EX Pokemon because they are technically legendaries in the sense of their base stat totals, the same way the paradox ones are. But at the same time, the paradox Pokemon are in this gray area like Fione, where it's both a mythical and a legendary. Where in this case, it's both a legendary and not a legendary, because they're just like way past or way future evolutions of Pokemon that are in current generation. So I want to know if I'm kind of like wondering if they're going to make it treated like a legendary or not, because technically they really aren't. They're just forms of those Pokemon from different time periods. And usually when it comes to regular legendaries, they don't care. They'll just make it, unless it's GX Pokemon, they'll just leave it as like regular Pokemon, like Rayquaza or Giratina, who have both had cards that are like 1 prize card.
Gotcha.
Well, at least Pokemon prize cards aren't, as far as I know, you can correct me. I haven't looked into Pokemon prize cards. They're not like buku money like Yu-Gi-Oh ones, as I know.
Yeah, it's true. Something else, but I don't remember. If it comes to me, I'll bring it up later.
All right. Well, hey Reborn, is there anything interesting going on in Vanguard?
Actually, yes. We got the effects for both Vehemence Bruce and the villain's main card now. Let me bring up Vehemence Bruce, because Vehemence Bruce is actually far more interesting. Vehemence Bruce is, at the start of your battle phase, everything has to be a Diabolos card, which means no more spamming brainwash swirlers to just Hail Mary the person now. You don't get your main phase final burst effects.
Interesting.
But now, instead of Soul Blast 5 to stand the front row, it's kind of Blast 1 to stand an entire column. So you get less attacks, but they're bigger.
That's fair.
You do lose a lot of your main phase cards that need final rush during the main phase. Like a lot of the older stuff, one of the big things with the Vehemence is the deck has to be readjusted just for him, because you only final burst at the start of the battle phase until the end of your opponent's next turn. And
hey Zivuth.
Some of them say I get 5k power, 5k shield during your opponent's turn.
Oh, not sure.
I think that's why. But what is kind of interesting with Griffogilia, he's along the lines of busted boss that takes a long time to set up. If y'all remember Glendios or Gize,
I remember.
Griffogilia's around the same stuff, where you have this seed that lets you have 5 cards in your ride deck, himself, 3 calamities, and your over trigger. Pay attention to those words.
Gotcha.
He gets +2 for every calamity in soul. At the start of the main phase, once you have 3 calamities, you search for Griffogilia and ride it. Which
Mhm.
means the grade 10 Griffogilia, Dragon Tree of Ecliptic Decimation, Griffogilia. And you put 2 Dragon Tree markers on your front row. Those markers are going to mean something. Griffogilia, grade 10, can used in any nation. Because he doesn't have a nation. He just came from the street and was like, yo, what's up? When he
Still
swings,
stuck on, you gotta ride it.
when he swings, he gets +5 for every dragon tree on your rear guard.
Jesus.
If you have 3 or more, he gets a crit. So at minimum, he always swings for 23 crit too.
Dang.
Christ, what are they cooking over there?
And if he attacks, you pick a calamity card from your ride deck, banish it. If you did not, you pick up the over trigger, show it to your opponent, and then activate it immediately.
Huh.
Then stand everything on your field that has a dragon tree marker.
Ah.
Depending on the nation, this can go from meh to oh my god, to throwing the table out the window.
I thought you were gonna say throwing the game. I was about to say some decks are just throwing the game for the sake of memeing on your opponent. No, I'm saying like this deck sounds gross and I love it. There are times where I'm sorry. There's times
it's 7 turns.
It doesn't burn. He said.
The thing is, it's 7 turns. Bruce will kill you
Christ.
before 7 turns.
Yeah, that's a bit long. What the fuck?
To get everything ready is 7 turns.
You could
Bruce
get
will
killed
kill
7
you.
times over in 7 turns. What?
Redon will kill you in 7 turns.
Yeah, it's
just
like
a flesh wound.
Oh my god, it's just Regigigas. That's all it is. It's just leave it on the field for a couple turns. Then after those turns are up, nothing lasts against it. But it's very easy to take it down in those turns. So what's the point?
Yeah,
my god.
Overlord will say, "Bitch, I am Dragonic Overlord. Sit your ass down."
So the funny thing about that is, like I was saying before, there are some decks that are just straight up ass. But the fun of it is, if you win with them, especially against a deck that's like tier 1, tier 0. I know I'm using Yu-Gi-Oh terms. That's the best I can imagine. If you win against anything like that with a deck that's like just garbage or has a mechanic that's garbage that you basically have to pray your opponent either doesn't know what they're doing or makes a mistake, it's the best fucking feeling ever. Like, nothing can top that. Winning with something that should not work. Especially if your opponent is like full of themselves. That's better.
No, but
Speaking from experience.
The thing is, luckily Griffogilia has a retch for each nation that speeds up the creation of the markers. Because the first effect is always Counterblast 1, you pick a rear guard that doesn't have a marker, put a dragon tree marker.
What?
You technically only need 4.
Even though it takes 7 turns to get everything ready?
You need 4 markers. 2 to stand your rear guards, and 2 to get and 2 to stand what's behind those rear guards. The whole Griffogilia, yeah, like this deck loses to field nukes. This deck loses to field nukes and just Hail Mary. This deck can't. That's one. That's
I don't know if that's what you're saying.
No, you rush them before Griffogilia comes out. They're dead because they can't play or guard because Griffo C doesn't have a nation.
Damn. I remember what I want to say about Pokemon. This isn't the TCG though. This is about the game. So it isn't the case anymore. But I do want to make a point of this because it's basically calling back to the idea of use whatever the hell you want. It at the end of the day, something will actually work, even if it's dumb. So just a quick question: what do y'all think? Everyone, take a guess. What do y'all think is strongest Pokemon in the meta? For season 1. Season 2 just started, so we can't really find out yet.
Lucario?
Say again?
Lucario?
Good guess. Who? I heard someone else say something. What was it?
Dondozo Tatsugiri.
That is indeed a good combo, but
Murkrow.
no.
Wait, no, Murkrow.
Yeah. Little fucking bird with a witch hat. Strongest Pokemon in the format.
It's priority prankster, tailwind, and haze and whatnot, so it counters Dondozo by removing all of its stats, and it can other prankster Pokemon don't override it.
No lie.
So
Murkrow users are the exact kind of people that would run Floodgate decks in Yu-Gi-Oh!
I believe it. I believe it. Especially because Murkrow is literally built to basically just be a bootleg version of either Whimsicott or what's the name of this Pokemon? One of the genies, I forget.
It's literally just the words "no fun allowed." It's literally just the words "no fun allowed" on wings.
The funny thing is
that it's all Whimsicott doing its job better and want to be just like it.
So the funny thing is that Murkrow. The thing is that Murkrow has been a massive thing in the VGC since Generation 5 when it got Prankster, almost solely because of one particular move, Quash.
Yeah, Quash is really good, but like at the same time, that's more a filler move. That's more a move you use if you need it rather than a staple. Like for example, its moveset now is Haze, Tailwind, and I forget the third move.
Foul play.
I believe it's foul play. Because since its attack is garbage, it actually helps it that its attack into actually strong Pokemon. And then the fourth move is just whatever the hell you want. Squash is a recommended move if you're fighting something that has a lot of, say, a Garchomp or Golden Go. So like the fact that all it's doing is just being an asshole. And it's actually the best Pokemon in the format because of it. It's just too funny. It's all it does. Oh, look, a funny little rock on the floor. I wonder what this does. Suddenly it's tankier than its evolution.
Honestly, regarding Goldengo, fuck that cheese string man looking motherfucker.
He does look like cheese string. Oh my god. I hate the fact they have to grind for him because, now basically it doesn't matter what Pokemon you catch. As long as you catch one of those one Pokemon, you're good to go. You could have everything done in game. You can get perfect IVs with bottle caps. You can get perfect nature with mints because they're now very easy to get. You can put egg moves on them without breeding because you just gotta put them in the picnic together and they'll know the move. Like Tinkaton learns Ice Hammer because if you put it in the party with Crabominable, it learns it through even though it's an egg move, which is really, really good. Thank God. So if I catch a shiny, I can still use it competitively. But
wait, what move?
Ice Hammer.
Oh yeah, I mean that makes sense.
It makes sense for it to have it, but it's an egg move. So they implemented a way to do it, so you don't need to breed it. So if you want a shiny to learn a certain move, you don't have to like shiny breed for it. You can just catch a shiny, which is really easy in Gen 8 now or Gen 9.
It's been like that.
And then go from there.
Gen 8. It was introduced.
Gen 8 is a pain in the ass to shiny hunt, and I hate it so much.
But yeah, you could. I think they implemented that because of Dynamax battles. So if someone got a Dynamax shiny, they can put it in the daycare with Pokemon that have certain egg moves.
I get that. I'm just saying I think it's really dumb that in Gen 8, shiny hunting was basically like, oh, you want a shiny hunt? Sure. Master method. Okay, well, their method in case people don't want to breed. I don't know, stick a thumb up your ass. It's just annoying. I'm glad Gen 9 is like way more lenient. But
the poor colorblind people in Gen 9.
But yeah, like the point I'm trying to make is like the fact that it's smaller than like even the worst Pokemon in like their top tier in It got such a low BST. It's like paper thin, even with Eviolite. And yet it's over here being more of a menace than a literal fucking land shark, a string cheese man, and a sushi making catfish. The fact that it's better than all of that, and to the point where people had to build around it, is just funny as hell to me. Literally the embodiment of the meme: who would win, a giant land shark capable of outspeeding a fire jet, or a little burb with a shiny rock?
Yeah.
Reborn, is there anything else Vanguard related?
Yeah, there's actually one more ride line that I was going to bring up, and that is Al Majester. What she basically says is this: every time you Soul Blast or trigger, she gives the card on the field +5. And she gets, and when she attacks, you Soul Blast 3. And when you do this, you bind all triggers or crits.
Mm-hmm.
For each crit you bound, she gets an effect.
What about Soul Blast 4?
Oh, that's Drajuled. Bind
Yes.
one.
What about Soul Blast 10?
If you bind one, she kills something. If you bind two, she gets a crit. If she binds three, she gets a drive. Realistically, because of the crit limit, you're not gonna get this off more than twice. You're not gonna get all three off more than twice.
But it's
What
still
if you
amazing.
break the crit limit?
Yeah.
Okay, was that everything?
No. That's it. That's it for now.
All right, well then I'll go ahead and get to the next item on the list, which is the Weiss Schwarz stuff. They recently had their Bushiroad Championship Series Worlds Tournament, which took place over in Anaheim, California, and the winner for first and second were both quintessential quintuplets players, specifically the Nino blend, and third and fourth were playing Seven Deadly Sins Escanor, which makes me happy.
Oh no, the prophecy.
It's purely because the finalized build was not perfect. Otherwise, they might theoretically have done better, but no way to know right now. So we'll just have to see when the Spring Fest comes around, which is their spring season of the game. And they've announced not all of the tournament dates, but many of them. Let's see. In March, they've got tournaments taking place in Toronto, Ontario, and San Gabriel, California. In April, they've got one in Duluth, Georgia, and Kaiserslautern, Germany, as well as in the Philippines, but the location's undetermined. And another one over in Houston, Texas, and Rouen, France. In May, there's one in Mexico, Rosemont, Illinois, Spain, although the exact location's unknown, same as over in Taiwan, and Newark, New Jersey, and Milano, Italy. In June, they've got one booked for Vancouver, BC, and they still haven't told us the dates and exact locations of Benelux, UK, London, Singapore, Indonesia, Malaysia, Vietnam, Myanmar, and Australia. There's a ton of tournaments that we're still waiting on information about. Now, if you'll recall...
I was going to ask, that Escanor deck, those two that were in third and fourth, was it similar to the one you have?
Basically the same build. They were just playing a more techie version, whereas I was trying to play what I considered to be the more consistent and dedicated version.
The prophecy for Escanor deck to win Worlds?
The Escanor deck came in third and fourth. The odds of it winning were actually pretty high, all things considered. They just didn't have a solidified build at the time, but if they had a little bit more chance to work on it, they might have actually taken Worlds.
Okay.
Which means that...
All right, that's fair.
Which means there's a good possibility that they would have been hit on the ban list. And speaking of, the most recent ban list is officially now in effect, which means that despite coming in first, the Quince archetype now has to deal with their ban list restrictions. And theoretically, they're going to get hit with another one.
Yeah, I was going to say, because like this is like the third one they've won in a row, to my knowledge. So like it's a miracle that the bans didn't come into effect during it. I guess they're just taking advantage of the fact that it hasn't yet.
I guess so. Now, as far as products coming out, They created trial deck reprints for Kaguya-sama, Day-Day Live, and Overlord, which is known as Nazarick for whatever reason. Although the Nazarick trial decks are on pre-order right now. And they had a stream recently where they announced a bunch of new archetypes and cards that are going to be coming in the future. First off, the Avatar: The Last Airbender series has been confirmed to be dropped on June 16th, and they've started dropping single cards, the most important one being Cabbage.
Yes. Oh my god. Wait. The Konosuba one or the Avatar one?
Cabbage!
Avatar: The Last Airbender. Cabbage.
Cabbage Man!
Cabbage is its own card. Oh my god. Please tell me it works like Konosuba one.
Baby.
Please tell me it works like the Konosuba one with Cabbage Merchant as the boss.
Yes. Well, it gets stronger for every Cabbage you have on the front battling line, and if you attack and its damage gets stopped, it actually puts itself into a resource pool, so you're just set for the future. And you can play as many as you want. Oh
my god, yes! I hope Cabbage Merchant is like the boss of the deck.
I'm kind of hoping for that too, because I might actually build that. I'm still on the
Same.
I'm still on the fence about whether or not I'm even going to build anything from Avatar, because I don't have anything specifically that I like out of the series more than anything else that I can dedicate toward. I might just end up building a deck for every color.
I would love if they made a deck specifically for Appa and Momo, like just them.
Truthfully, I wouldn't mind one for Ty Lee, but this Cabbage deck, this reminds me of a deck in Buddy Fight called Shadow Dragons, which was just adorable resource engine. You run as many as you physically can, and then they just keep getting less and less adorable till they come out with a 10 crit Shadow Dragon that knocks you out, and you're just like, I just got beat up by something adorable.
It happens.
The Armor Dragon archetype from Yu-Gi-Oh!
Moving down the list, they've also confirmed the release date for the Review Starlight Series 2 pack, which is going to be on July 7th. And we still haven't gotten
No, I was just asking, what's that?
Oh, Review Starlight is one of those cutesy stage performance anime.
Okay.
Yeah, they had a set released a couple of years ago, I think it was, and now they're getting a pack 2. But they haven't released an English release date for Chainsaw Man yet, but they have confirmed the Japanese release to be on April 21st. So it's going to be probably between April 21st and maybe 3 months down the line.
Okay. Someone sweats and makes a Makima deck.
Depends how much Chainsaw Man's going to cost, because that's something I will buy.
The only thing we've seen from it as far as its cards, though, is a couple of signed prints, and they look pretty good, all things considered. But we have no information on their English release yet.
I hope I don't have to spend $100 on a full of.
No, you won't.
Doing that.
Oh, no. It's going to cost more than $100 for a single copy of any signed print in this set, I can already tell you.
No.
Oh, dear God. Well, idols.
I mean, like Yu-Gi-Oh does. Here's a new card you need 3 of to play the game. $300. I don't want to do that if I had to play Weiss.
Oh, please.
When Weiss started, it was a little bit expensive.
Oh, please. Escanor's most expensive card was like $15 a copy. I was able to get that at a discount even.
Okay, good. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, no, not every series. And on top of that, Escanor has like 2 or 3 different printings, one of which is a signed print, and that's the expensive one. Weiss is decent about their number of prints because they create alternate art prints, kind of like what Yu-Gi-Oh does with their Collector's Rare and Starlight Rares and whatnot. So there is a chance you can get an affordable copy.
So basically, like Pokemon, there is the cheaper copy of a V or V-Star, and then there's a full art copy that's worth 10 times the amount, basically. That's amazing.
Something like that, sure. And they also announced several titles that are going to be coming in the future, but we don't have dates for. That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime is getting a Volume 3 pack, which I'm very happy about, because that means that they're going to give new support to the Goblins and the Tempest Wolves, which is the deck I choose to play. Hololive is getting a Volume 2 pack, which we were kind of expecting. Something called Azure Lane is getting a set. It's been over in Japan for a little while now, but I never looked into it.
It's if I remember correctly, it's like an anime about ships, similar to forget the other one. Damn.
Oh, okay.
Toho.
So Oh, okay. So it's going to be like Kantai Collection, which is a series they've had in
Yeah.
Weiss Schwarz for a long time.
Yeah.
Now here's the big two. They have confirmed they're giving Spy X Family a set,
Oh,
Hell yeah.
Awesome.
and they've also confirmed that we're getting a Guilty Gear Strive set.
oh my god, yeah. I hope Bridget's in it.
More than likely.
Bridget and Testament, that's all I care for.
Well, if they're predominant characters, they might actually have an entire line of cards about them. So no, they might. That tends to be how it goes. As far as what any of these sets come with, we haven't seen any reveals. We don't even have a solid date. We just know they're coming.
Awesome.
All right. Well,
And
all right. So, Bridget, I can see a whole deck being made around because she is literally the most popular character in Guilty Gear in Japan. Testament, not so much.
maybe. It just depends. But
Yeah.
now that I've covered that, we can finally get into the subject that we're all here about, the Yu-Gi-Ohs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
before
I was
before,
about to ask.
before we
Death
start,
to
before,
Ishizukiya.
okay, let me just say this before we start that. You guys can talk, but I'm gonna post my deck list and side deck from last week's tournament.
That's cool. Go right ahead.
I'll post my deck list now. There's the extra deck. There's the main deck if my phone wants to cooperate.
There's the extra deck at least. Let's see.
Then here's my side deck.
That a
don't
gigantic
feel-
screen. Wow, it's based.
Yeah,
Then
looks
here's
pretty
my
solid.
matchups.
Okay, well, we'll leave that on the screen for the other people to read. And in the
Alright.
meantime, I'll go ahead and go through the list real quick while we have the time, because I want to make sure that Ori's still here for all this. They've confirmed the official World Championship 2023 is going to happen this year, but with understanding that where you know what is still in effect at the moment, the date's going to be tentative. They have confirmed that the TCG, OCG, Duel Links, and Master Duel events are all going to be scheduled for sometime in August in Japan.
Damn.
Whoever joins us said
And
hi.
we all already know that the Master Duel event will be a mess.
Obviously.
Japan.
And welcome
What
back,
event
Tim.
is it?
Hello.
All right.
Please turn off your microwaves.
Well, next on the list is the Master Duel stuff, and there's a few things to go through, and I'm going to burn through these real quick. They have given mutants their own solo mode, which I think is cool.
I love that.
They have a new booster pack that's either out or coming out for called Heroic Warriors, which is going to have the Therion, Libromancer, Heroic, and Vendret stuff. Booster pack Recollection of the Story, which is going to be their anniversary pack and comes with support for multiple sets in all the solo modes.
And still no announcement about the Ani rewards. Seems like we don't get anything to test us if we are okay with it.
Of course. The Theme Chronicle event is going to be taking place, which is a tournament exclusively for themes from the solo modes.
It already happened.
Thank you. I didn't have the dates in front of me for that. And they confirmed a new ban list, which goes into effect this upcoming Monday, where they have banned Union Carrier and Totally Awesome.
And this is not
Wait.
Wait,
got banned?
OCG?
In Master Duel. In Master Duel. Like I said, this is Master Duel.
Okay.
I was getting preemptively hit because Sprite should be going in there soon.
Yes.
Yeah.
They also
but Tears and Sprite will come out at the same time, and Tears will be better when Totally Awesome and Unique Carrier are banned.
Obviously.
Because Tears didn't get any pre-hits now.
Of course. They also semi-limited a few things. Dimension Shifter, Infernity Launcher, Conquistador of the Golden Land, That Grass Looks Greener, and There Can Be Only One.
Hits to make Tears even stronger in Master Duel. Thank you,
But fucking
Konami.
riddance, there can be only one.
And as far as what they unlimited, they gave us back Danger Jackalope, Dino Wrestler Pankratops, Double Iris Magician, Salamangreat Gazelle, Cursed Eldland, Memories of Hope, and Scapegoat.
Unironically, Runic's still best deck. Let's go.
I think Pankratops is only limited in the TCG now. It's free in the OCG and Master Duel as well now. So why not bring it back in the TCG as well?
Might as well.
Honestly, I
surprised it
find
wasn't
Runic funny.
earlier.
Now, as far as the actual TCG is concerned, the only new product that we have out on the market is Deck Build Pack Amazing Defenders, released, I believe it was last week.
And in the coming Thursday, there comes out Hypernova.
I mean, we have.
But don't worry, the new Kashtira can't beat Ishizu-Tier. Ishizu-Tier will be still tier 0, so nothing will change in the format. That is sad.
On the
Honestly,
subject of
Konami has to kill Ishizu-Tier directly in the TCG.
They have to murder it.
Yeah, it's not going to be a pretty ban list.
And they're not going to murder it.
It's gonna be crucifixion.
Yeah.
Can't murder in a TCG because Rise Hearts and Ulti. It's just we're gonna. I told people we're not gonna get a good we're not gonna get a good first ban list this year, but the next ban list is going to be like punch in the dick compared to the first one. Because
most of us said in the last podcast that cards like Windstat you have to go, but if you think like that, it's the only way how Kashtira can counter Ishizu at full power. And that is a problem. So yeah, bury just the fucking deck.
It needs to get more buried than the Undertaker burying AJ Styles. That was a good match. I've been watching a lot of old wrestling matches.
Like
using my friend's account.
It's like Ishizu-Tier got buried 3 times in the OCG already, and it's still at over 30% in each tournament. That says something.
Because they're hitting the wrong cards.
That's not surprising.
Yeah, yes, they still have
And we know the TCG Konami is even more dumb with making their ban list.
Yeah.
Well, back in I believe it was 2020 was the last like good murder list. It was 2020
just ban the entire tier archetype and put it.
That's a mad copium.
It's not copium.
Early anyway, but
I'm talking like the 2020 ban. I believe it was the 2020 ban list where they hurt my Draco deck. They went out and then they slaughtered.
Yeah, that was the last ban list that murdered everything.
That was the last good ban list. Harp.
And we need a ban list like this again for Ishizu-Tier.
I wouldn't be surprised if just Ishizu got hit.
Honestly,
one thing for sure. What might happen?
Ban all 4 Ishizu cards.
Can I interrupt, please?
Oh God, what was that?
Playable anyway.
I'm gonna have to go, so I'm gonna say my piece. What's probably gonna happen is Ishizu, it's gonna get hit, but not Tier. I think Zivuth was testing out Despia Albaz on Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro, and apparently that counters Kashtira. But Ishizu just needs to go. Has Vernalizer come into the TCG yet, or no?
Yes, it has. I believe. Vernalizer,
maybe I just play it poorly with Kashtira, but even Labyrinth
let me
better than
continue.
Kashtira full power.
Let me continue, please, because I do have to go.
I was gonna say Vernalizer is the pendulum deck. That's like a chessboard, right?
No, Vernalizer is like it's a mill deck.
Oh, you mean Vermicilf?
The beast. It's the Beast Earth mill deck that was paired with the Shizu in the OCG.
Yeah,
and
that's been out on the TCG. It's the reason why Natira still stops.
I don't know if Flanders got hit, but I wouldn't be surprised if it came back in Kashtira format if it wasn't hit at all, because of the fact that Kashtira banishes everything. So I would say they should probably ban. I'd say ban all of the barrier statues, but at least the wind statue, because if not, we might see a resurgence in Flanders, and that would ruin
again. Kashtira need the wind statue to have a chance against Ishizu-Tier.
I was gonna say, I would rather have either all the barrier statues banned or none of them, because
I want them all
banned.
I want them all banned. Like I agree with that.
The same exact thing.
Yeah,
but for different attributes.
Yeah, everyone. They're all extremely unhealthy, and they're going to come. They're going to come when the right deck comes by. The next fire deck's meta. Sorry, they're going to try to get the fire barrier statue. Water becomes meta again. Water. It's a recurring cycle. I would agree that all of them are going to get banned, but they fucking refuse to do all of them. But
Ishizu tier has to go before that.
But Ishizu tier definitely has to go.
Yeah.
But it's probably not going to be tier. It's going to be Ishizu, so that tier can at least try to play on its own. And maybe stuff like Cheer Ishizu, Tier Albaz, whatever comes out. But basically, Ishizu needs to go. Stormwinds at least needs to go so that Fluandries doesn't return back into the meta, or at least not for long, and end up being oppressive against everything. Because I'm pretty sure Stormwinds also fucks with Kashtira.
Yes, but I tested Kashtira the last few days, and the really only good play in the TCG they have is the Wind statue. And when you take this again, Ishizu tier will stay at tier 0.
So, can we continue, or?
Yeah, I'm done. And I have to go, unfortunately, though, so it was great being here.
Appreciate you being here, man.
I might come back. I might, if there's time, but...
We'll see.
There was something I did want to add. He mentioned fire, and you all were talking about like recent product and stuff in terms of the Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG. I do believe that they did confirm a legendary duelist fire set with some support.
Yes.
Yeah.
We will finally. It took like how many years, and we're going to begin some Volcanics support.
Hopefully, like don't be too optimistic. You have to like brace yourself just in case.
There's 4 different fire archetypes used by anime characters that we know of that already exist in the game. Volcanic, Battling Boxer, Salamangrade, and what was the 4th one? I can't remember the 4th one that we were discussing before. But in any case, it could be any of these 4, and if I can remember the title, I'll throw it up in the after show. But I didn't actually plan on bringing that up this show because we didn't have an English confirmed release date or what they were planning on doing with the pack just yet. They literally just announced it.
Yeah,
no. But regardless, though, Volcanics, if they are like actually doing it, Volcanic support is going to be hype. If it is good, I know a certain Payne fella is going to be having quite the field day.
Konami owes it to that man to let him announce that support.
He has to.
He's been waiting like
of the pyro.
Let Payne announce
like
Volcanics.
The best I can do is Flame Swordsman and more Red Dragon Archfiend support.
Red, that's what it was, the red archetype.
Even though it's mainly dark.
It's the Resonator Archetype. It's the Resonator Red Archetype.
Yeah, the red from Arc V, basically.
Not even gonna lie, I would deadass also love to see Flame Swordsman like made into a full-fledged archetype. Maybe even a retrain of the OG man himself.
I mean,
maybe.
That could work.
He does actually have a support piece.
The funny thing is that I'm
let's be
surprised
honest,
that
every Green Soldier needs his own archetype.
Guardian got its own archetype. Gaia got its own archetype. Skull.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that, actually. I might actually play it.
Especially with the generic Fire Warrior support, it'd be lit.
It would.
Dude, the thing is, we need is more Fire Pyro support. Pyro is the most unrepresented monster type out there right now.
At the moment, yeah, but that's probably going to change.
The thing about potential Volcanic support, though, I kind of want to see them like do reworks or retrains of like the bad Volcanic monsters, like the stuff that nobody touched, like Volcanic Rat, Volcanic Slicer, Hammer even, and maybe like some more actual good spell and trap cards that aren't just like Blazed Accelerator. That's it.
Okay, well, let's get back to the initial topic, because someone mentioned Photon Hypernova, and I have a couple of things to actually add to the information we already know. They have confirmed basically everything that's coming in the 100-card set, including a few things we didn't know about. First off, they're re-importing the new Trap Monster Odeon-flavored support, which means that we're finally going to get the new evolved form of the Apopus Trap Monster, who can target and negate multiple cards.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it's pretty solid. It's a crazy trap monster. I'll have to drop it in later because I can't remember the name. But the other thing is that we got to look at the rest of the Gold Pride stuff.
Oh yeah, and it's not great.
It may not be
great.
great, but it's freaking
It's really not
hilarious.
great.
Gold
good.
Pride. What is that?
It's that you remember Gold Pride Leon, that guy that got leaked that was riding a horse. Well, while you're looking at
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I see it now. I just had to Google it and my brain just. Yeah, I remember it now. I remember seeing bits of it.
The archetype itself doesn't look that great right now. It clearly needs a second set of support, but this is clearly a wacky races archetype, and I am very happy.
You know what also needed a second...
They literally are racing against each other and blasting them each other off the line just to get ahead. It makes perfect sense.
God, wacky races.
Yeah, wacky races. It's an old cartoon show.
I remember. I watched
Dick my man.
There you go.
I forget how the first review is not good. Literally still better than War Rock.
That's not exactly a high bar to meet.
I really thought first that it was inspired by the UV red line.
Yep. And the only other piece of news that I have regarding Yu-Gi-Oh! Is Cyberstorm Access, which was already confirmed to be dropping on May 5th, got a few more pieces of its support revealed. The generic Albaz field spell, which can either search Albaz from deck to hand or summon Albaz from your hand when your opponent activates a specific type of card or effect, which is completely generic across all the archetypes if you want to run them.
Do they really need that? Do they really need more ways to search the dude?
It's Albaz, dude. It's Albaz.
Yeah, but
exactly.
Yeah.
Do they really need more ways to get that dude out there? There literally just 100 of them already.
He's a dragon, he's dark, he can be pulled by half the cards across the last 10 archetypes that have been released or whatever. Yeah, he needs more help because he's still not being used for his intended purpose.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I don't like the branded deck. But
I mean, branded was a cool archetype idea, but branded fusion ruined it and made it and calculated a lot of hate.
Yeah.
I love the Albaz lore. That little kid has suffered as much as Maximus in the Crusader deck.
And that's actually the other point I was about to bring up. Thanks to that field spell, we now know that the end of the lore line for this series, the Albaz lore, ends on a positive note. Just about everybody makes it out okay.
Oh, I don't know about that because I don't know about that. It looks like I'm looking for a season 2.
Yeah, there must be a twist somewhere. I mean, we are talking about Konami.
No, Aluber looks like he's planning out Aluber in the story. Looks like he's playing something bigger. Because he has someone bowing to him.
Wait, can we not? I had to suffer through Maximus losing his dragon, and I really wanted to choke someone. Can we not do this to my boy? I don't play with that.
No. I had to suffer with tunes not being as good as they were in the anime. You must suffer as well.
I'm sorry. Your opinion isn't valid.
Well, okay. Now, wrapping this up, though, with the last little bit of information regarding Cyberstorm Access. The other things that they revealed were Dual Avatar getting a new 4-star fusion, which looks pretty decent.
It really looks neat. Looks like below mid. I don't even know what it's supposed to do.
It's supposed to be a reference to another old cartoon show called Double Dragons.
Oh, I love the fact they're doing cartoon
Wait, like based off the game?
The TV show more so, but yeah. They gave S-Force a new Link 1, which doesn't search their field spell or anything, but it seems to help them do better at what they were already doing.
Okay.
Dinomorphia got a new counter trap that actually negates monster effects and has an added bonus that makes any battle damage you take for the rest of the turn, instead of doing an actual number of damage, it just cuts your life points in half.
Yep.
It's Dino-Morbin time.
It's so good. It's so good. So dumb.
It's amazing.
So good.
And
Dinomorphia should never get supported. It's annoying.
Yeah.
And
here's... Good.
Just saying, as someone who plays Dinomorphia, I'm saying it is great.
Yes.
Connor,
Sure.
utter those words
We're
ever
like
again,
Labyrinth
please.
players. Set trap, set trap, set trap, set trap. Labyrinth, yay!
It's the 17th in the longest line of back row decks we've seen in the last 2 years.
Honestly, Dynamorphia needs a bit more monster for the main deck.
I can agree to that. And now the part of this new reveal that I'm the most excited about is the spirit support.
Yes.
They gave spirits, old spirits, I'm talking generic old-fashioned spirits, new pieces, 2 of them. They gave them a new 4-star that gives them an additional normal summon, and if it's tributed, it retrieves any spirit from your graveyard back to your hand. And they gave them a new boss monster that is basically a more nuanced version of Fiber Jar.
Oh my god.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Hold on, can you
Wow.
post
The
these in
older
the
get
chat?
love.
I've never heard of this, to be honest with you.
I'd have to actually look up the name because its name is freaking impossible for me to remember. Okay, hang
Is
on.
it a card that was
Maybe
revealed
like
at Jump
after the
Jump
podcast then or something.
Well,
Nanashi, to be fair, Yu-Gi-Oh players don't read to begin with, so it's understandable if you don't remember it. I wouldn't remember it. A
I'm
lot of us
sorry.
remember it.
There we go.
Okay, I'm sorry. When I'm sober, I read like shit, but when I'm high, I know how to read cards.
Yeah, but that's the
Sumuhaku
1% of Yu-Gi-Oh
Tsunade,
players.
yeah. Okay. It can be normal summon with 1 tribute if the thing you tribute was a normal summon monster, which feeds right into the new 4-star spirit that gives you an additional normal summon. During the turn that you successfully played it, the opponent has to make the active decision to send cards they control to the graveyard so that each player can draw a card. And they can choose 0 or they can choose everything or in between. And the reason for that is because of its 3rd and most important effect. During the end phase of the turn that it was successfully played, everything that is on the field, in the graveyard, and in both players' banished piles goes back to the deck.
It's kind of nutty.
Yeah, like I said, it's a nuanced Fiber Jar. It basically resets the game. And I've already tested this. If you run this in tandem with Hino Kagusuchi, the monster that makes your opponent mill their entire hand right before their draw phase starts, the opponent can't do anything unless they're playing a grave deck.
Yeah,
Wait,
I'm gagging.
can Dark Lords abuse this?
I'm testing it actively. It's a little janky because you're using 2 different normal summon reliant above level 4s to do it, and there's no way to accelerate them, but it does work.
Yeah, it's that sounds disgustingly hilarious.
And the best part is that now that spirits have inherently 3 normal summons a turn thanks to both Nikitama and the new Sakitama, it's not impossible to play, plus the ritual aspect gives you more bodies. There is a way to make it work.
Damn, that's interesting. But just because I immediately thought that when you said the name, how many Yu-Gi-Oh players think are just gonna call it "Suck Your Mama"? Like how people call the Kamehameha the Kame Yo Mama.
The thing is, you might not even need to do that. The Swordmaster is just the big guy because it doesn't load the card art, but the monster itself and its own card art is depicted as being so huge that when you look down at it from above, you can see the planet's horizon line.
Right.
It's huge. And yeah, that's the dual avatar fusion I was telling you about. It does suck, not even gonna lie, but the artwork was the part that I was touching on. And that is everything Yu-Gi-Oh related that we have, and Ori was able to make it for the whole thing.
Let's go.
This dual avatar card sucks ass. It literally goes against this deck. Because the 2 main deck monsters need to be popped. They have effects when popped, and these cards protect it, which sucks ass.
I was actually planning on building this deck at one point when I realized I didn't like the archetype enough to build it.
Fair enough.
Dude, I'm gonna say this once again. This should have been a instant fusion target that searches shit. Because like, oh my god, that deck needs more searchers.
It is an instant fusion target.
It should have been a better one. It literally sucks ass because it needs the big fusions to be working.
You know, given how many instant fusion targets we're getting in upcoming packs, they might put instant fusion back to 2.
Dude, I'd rather have more. I'd rather have more of those.
Bad idea.
Stop. I want it banned.
I know you do. That's one of the reasons I'm enjoying this.
But is
Okay.
it really wise to put instant fusion higher than 1 when Ishizu tier is still at 6?
You don't want the smoke. Instant fusion higher than 1. I'll play relinquish and break boards.
Hey, my wife likes the relinquish deck too. She'd play that in a heartbeat if she could.
Big brain move. Use the relinquish deck against a tribophobe.
Someone was gonna say something. We cut him off. Sorry about
yeah,
that.
go ahead.
But yeah, I was gonna say that Amazing Defenders is definitely one of the sets of all
Am I better
time.
now?
Yeah, no, your echo's been taken care
Yeah,
of.
it's way better. Anyways, Amazing Defenders is the set that brought us fire hydrants,
And
evolutions, and Fevermancers, but actually sort of playable.
You mean Gusto 2.0?
That too. Or Valence, but their FDK can actually function.
I faced them the other day and almost beat them with that Spirit Lock.
Oh no.
No,
funny thing, spirits are actually playing Valence field spells as a tech because it gives us a turn 1 option to get into our ritual stuff.
What? Wait,
Yeah,
really? That's
Baroness,
an interesting combo.
The Valence field spell puts a copy of the other field spell on the opponent's side of the field, meaning that they control a face-up spell trap. So if you summon Baroness and shuffle that back to the deck, you get a mono Wawato right out of the deck for free. Add to it that it makes it impossible for them to counter with Imperm because they control a card.
That's so dumb. That's so dumb. I love it. It's like, when I say dumb, I mean like it's simple, but it like works so like big brain.
It does.
I don't know if any one of you watched the Royal Rumble, but the story that paid off there was amazing. Even when you are not a wrestling fan, you followed the Bloodline story around Sami Zayn.
Yes. The Bloodline storyline is basically the best thing going in wrestling right now.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and the payoff was amazing. With the Bloodline, okay, spoiler tag, the Bloodline torturing Kevin Owens after the match for the final test for Sami Zayn. And Reigns wanted that Zayn gives him the final hit with a steel shadow and his career.
Ooh.
And he really struggles to do it. And at the end, instead of KO, he hits Roman Reigns on the back like Seth Rollins did back in 2014 when he betrayed the Shield.
Yeah.
That was an amazing payoff to the story.
I bet.
Indeed it was.
Anyway, I'm actually gonna head on off now since it's getting to that time for me.
Of course, I'm glad we were actually able to make it so you could stick around to the end this time.
Yeah, me too. And I'm glad I was able to make it because me watching Puss in Boots, I'm actually ended early enough.
If you missed the podcast because of that movie, we honestly wouldn't have blamed you with how
podcast
good it
or
was.
Puss in Boots.
Exactly.
Podcast or Puss in
I heard that
Boots.
it's really good. I will.
It is.
The earliest opportunity.
It's definitely up there. I'm not gonna say it's 10 out of 10, but it's definitely a 9 and 9.9.
I will say that it was like the perfect send-off for 2022.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Absolutely.
Right. I see you around.
All right, we'll see you later, Ori. Thanks for stopping by, man.
See you later. And the thing that happened after that Jey Uso didn't take part in the punishment and just left the arena, and later on Instagram he posted, "I'm out."
Oh.
That means that was the beginning of the end of the Bloodline technically.
Damn.
Since also Roman Reigns said at the end of the event when they were all staying in front of the ring where Sami Zayn and KO were finished both, and Roman Reigns whispered something solo secure in the ear, and nobody really could understand it, and some expert on YouTube found out what he said, and he said, we are on war now, Solo. This storyline is the best storyline in the history of WWE, I think. And it deserves an Oscar.
And now we wait for Reigns versus Zayn at Fastlane, and then Rhodes to beat Roman at WrestleMania.
Fastlane is at the end of
Yes.
the year. You swap it Fastlane with Elimination Chamber, I think.
Some limitations anyway. I was hesitant to watch any event, but since Vince is not in creative and Vince isn't like hands-on anymore, I gave it a chance. Now I'm a firm believer that they need to have a triple threat match for the belts and have Zayn grab one and Rhodes grab another, because having two belts, I want someone else. I want the belts to be like how they used to be.
Like give Sami
this-
Zayn the Universal Championship because that guy is so damn over now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then if you give Sami Zayn the Universal Championship, you could either have them working, or if you don't give it to him, you can have them both getting their tag team titles, or you could have how Kevin Owens betrayed Chris Jericho, so you could be like Zayn is his face, and then Owens goes back to being a heel. Like you can.
I expect the Usos to become faces as well and join Sami Zayn later. Like I could.
Not all of them, but if that would happen, I would love it. I just want
Like
Roman
I
to
could
get
see
stop
that
it.
Reigns blaming Jimmy tonight in SmackDown, that Jey Uso quit the Bloodline and then commands Solo to give Jimmy the Samoan spike and kick him out as well. So they both joined Sami Zayn as faces.
Oh, it's to the point where the bloodline doesn't need all these belts, and I knew the bloodline was still gonna hold the title, but I'm just tired. I told my friends the bloodlines still have both championships, all those championships. By the end of it, I'm going to boycott wrestling. Like
Yeah, I mean the stories they do, they are amazing, but it's so boring that Reigns has both title the Usos as well, having both title with them. I mean the Usos defending them at least, but Reigns, he's just there for 5 minutes and talking and does nothing for the titles, and that sucks.
And I've been watching the events on the bootleg site. I ain't giving Vince any of my money.
And that for 3 years now.
I've been doing that. And my friend's like, "You sure you don't want to borrow our account?" I'm like, "I borrowed it at the end for the final fight since the site got taken down." But I'm like, how does it feel to use this? I'm like, I hate giving Vince any revenue. He pissed off his daughter. I want to see his daughter go to AEW. But like, do wrestling. I just want hey, Raw titles here, SmackDown titles here. But I don't want them to people to hold the belt or unify the belts, because
I give Cody Rhodes 6 months before he gets booed out in the WWE as well, because no one liked it in AEW at the end. He always had to play the hero, and he directly does it again with the Judgment Day now.
Oh, who opened the candy wrapper next to their mic?
That was me trying to grab my mat.
As if you didn't hear the
it just caused
WrestleMania 38 collectively cheer when Rhodes returned to WWE against Seth Rollins.
And like I was saying earlier, the pop for Rey Mysterio that turned out to be Dominic, because his father had a bump, and then they got
what?
And like the fact that like I'm really pissed off that Wrestle people, like now that I know that they did that, I'm probably gonna unsubscribe to them. I'm like, because I'm a big fan of the Guerrero family. I mean, I was that one guy that like, oh, Vicky's not that bad, and then she got bad. I'm like, it's okay, Vicky won't be that bad.
No.
I always loved the Guerreros, and I always loved the Mysterios.
Yeah, but Dominic Mysterio is just trash. He's a pure clown. Like the rest of Judgment Day, except Rhea Ripley. She's the only good one of the Judgment Day. The rest you can put in the trash can.
I'm just gonna say 2 more things about wrestling. There was the Ballard sisters came out and tweeted that there wasn't enough female representation, and I agree. That was sexist as fuck. And then the other thing is about WrestleMania. I really want Edge to retire after Finn Balor beats him. And the other thing is, the Fiend has came out and says he's not bringing back the Demon.
Ah.
He's
Oh,
not, I mean, not demon, but why it's not bringing back the Fiend, and I'm like, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I was going to say, honestly fair. Once you come out of, once you regenerate and then lose a match at WrestleMania because your disciple distracted you by being covered in black goo and popping out of a jack-in-the-box, there's basically no recovery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people want the demon to return for Finn Balor too, but I don't think that's happening.
Yeah,
The demon's
again,
only face.
you can't really recover when you've basically been given the idiot ball and get
The only thing
humiliated
that
by.
can bring back the demon is the Fiend.
Yeah.
Like in a awesome story, Science Bray Wyatt has creative control over over himself now with Hunter on the top.
And speaking of creative control, Vince doesn't want to have nothing to do with creative control. Vince is only coming back to get money because he's a greedy asshole that he lost.
But I was a bit sad about the pick black match because I was hoping the Fiend returns, but then it was just Uncle Howdy getting the moment again. That was a bit the down point of the Rumble.
We mentioned Jay Briscoe's unfortunate death earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And his wife went with him, and a random that got in the wreck.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that the next week, WWE, who Jay Briscoe didn't work for, actually fully acknowledged him on television and paid tribute to him somewhat.
Yep.
AEW, meanwhile, they didn't do a full-on tribute show after his death because allegedly the Briscoes were disallowed on TV by Warner Bros. Executives. Although some of the skeptics of that thought it was actually due to backstage politics with the Young Bucks.
No, it was straight up Warner Brothers, and Warner Brothers can eat Taco Bell shit.
Well, true. But then they did an actual tribute show for Jay's birthday, and the main event was Mark Briscoe, his brother, against Jay Lethal, a big name in Ring of Honor. And that episode of Dynamite might have been one of its best, to be honest. And it was a touching farewell for one of the biggest innovators of tag team wrestling in the modern day.
Yeah, I was watching Ring of Honor. I was watching Ring of Honor in the fall and winter time because I got back into it because I found it at a bootleg site. Remember, lie, steat, and chill, children. But yeah, I was watching Ring of Honor on there. I'm the devil in your ear, children. Lie, steat, and still. But I'm like, I was watching Ring of Honor illegally. I'm like, you know what? If they're not gonna make this affordable, pirate it away like One Piece.
But yeah, I'm done.
I actually have a few Tokatsu things.
Tokusatsu. Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
One, when it came to with Outsiders, most of it's very messed up. But the next episode, I would say just watch for how touching it is.
Okay.
Because we will be getting a remake of that song with Kenzan and Disaster. And Kenzan's new final form will be in it, but he's not actually going to use it. It's going to be Disaster's going to use it. Another thing is the Live and Evil movie is next week. You know, the one with the form that you hate?
Oh, yeah.
They're doing a CSM 5 belt.
Yeah, I saw that. CSM is complete selection modification. It means it's basically a complete set of everything that the belt is supposed to have and can do in the show. It's like a deluxe model of some Power Ranger kit.
Yeah, which one thing that I still want, I want a CSM driver already. That needs a CSM like yesterday. I still want a gigantic CSM, gigantic of Ghost Sword.
Sword was pretty good.
There's one Sentai CSM that I want. Is the one from Lupin versus Pat.
That'd be kind of neat.
Uh,
Oh, there's actually one Tokusatsu thing that you just reminded me of that I can throw in there.
what?
My wife sat down and tried to watch Zio recently.
Oh, how fast did she get a headache?
Episode 17 is as far as she went.
Yeah, even I have a problem with Zio.
Yeah, Zio has a ton of problems. It suffers from a worse version of what they did to Decade.
And the poor showing of Decade Complete 21 was the nail on the coffin for me.
Tell me about it.
One thing with Geats that I kind of called was Buffer completed his belt.
I'm not sure I know what you're talking about.
Oh, you haven't been seeing Geats?
Yeah, I've been watching Geats, but I don't know what you mean by complete.
He's going to be getting zombie. He's going to be getting zombie from someone. From Sire.
Oh, okay. You mean he's going back to his original state. Okay. I didn't actually know that.
Because ever since I saw the Yamato belt, I always thought it was weird that it went on the other side. And I always thought, that's going to be somebody's other half eventually.
That is an interesting theory. I didn't even think of that.
It was Buffer's other half.
Okay.
What I'm also going to bet is Neon's dad is going to give her the other half of his belt. Oh, did you also know that Neon's dad was Timefire?
Who?
From Time Ranger, the Japanese version of Time Force.
Oh, I know. I didn't hear what you said before. Yeah. No, I did not know that, but that's good to know. I'm going to look into that.
I also found out Neon's actual actress is a YouTuber. I haven't found her YouTube yet, but I will.
To be fair, Vulcan from 01 was a YouTuber as well. He did musical covers.
Ah.
Yeah, he's got a surprisingly good English voice for singing.
I might look into that. And I knew that Patron X / Lupin X is a toy reviewer.
That makes sense.
He ironically did it of X Emperor. And he's still trying to make a Kickstarter for a CSM of the X Emperor.
Can't say I'm surprised.
One thing I still want to see for, because the one thing that I know that we're getting is they're probably going to give us a CSM of the rest of Double Stuff. They're going to do a CSM gigantic of Double Staff, the gun, and Oxo's sword. That is a guarantee. For Geats, I'm going to bet you, like, before March, we're going to see the gun card people.
I don't know what you're referring to.
You know that gun the sponsors are holding?
No.
It was in last episode.
I haven't seen the last episode yet. They haven't released it in the place I normally watch them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Each of the sponsors have a special gun, and I think Geats is going to get one eventually.
Maybe.
Some of the I'm still trying to figure out when K was. I think K was going to be the last to complete his belt.
I look forward to seeing this in the show when I should be seeing it.
Yeah. Like Kayla, I think also that the Yamato, I think there's going to be like a bigger version of the Yamato soon.
Maybe.
Because of the special Geats version of the trophy box, it makes me think that Buffa and Tycoon are going to use the powered builder one day, because it comes with the gigant thing for ninja, and it comes with the gigant weapon for zombie.
Well, I look forward to seeing those in the episodes.
All right. Because I think Neon's the only person that's not going to use this. Sorry, just got briefly electrocuted.
It's fine.
Oof.
So, yeah, that's all I got for Tokatsu.
Oh, you know that
No.
Super Mario Brothers movie poster?
Yeah.
Well, do you also know of the blue shell in Mario Kart?
Yeah.
Well, for some reason, in the Mario Brothers movie poster, the blue shell has a Koopa inside it. They made a blue shell Koopa.
That's unusual. I don't think they normally have one inside of them.
They did in Super Mario World.
Oh, okay, so this is normal.
But it wasn't spiny.
It's just very uncommon. Super Mario World's the only one I think that actually has Koopas now, to my knowledge.
Okay.
That and 3D World, I believe, but that's just 3D World had a blue shell for Toad to jump in. So that's
it.
Oh my god, there's a gold elephant gun.
Okay.
Yeah, they just showed me on one of my thing and I just saw gold elephant gun.
Fair enough. All right, well, I guess if that's everything, we can probably call it a night.
Yeah,
Yeah, let's do so.
3 hours later.
All right, well, thank you everybody for joining, and thank you everybody for tuning in. This has actually been a surprisingly smooth and just overall really good show. We record on the first Friday of every month, which means that the next podcast will be at the start of March, which appears to be March 3rd. Oh yeah, that's right. There's only 28 days in February. I forgot about that.
Yeah. 4 weeks directly.
In the meantime, thank you again for tuning in. We will see you in the next one.
Bye.